Being asked to donate to Arch.
Okay, good morning, everyone. So before we really get into our lunch, let's go ahead and do our pledge and say our prayer. And then we're going to play about 10 minutes of the film. Did everybody get to see the Bing Davis documentary? No. One person, two people, three people. Oh, three good people. Okay. And our star is here. And let's stand and take care of that business, and then you'll be able to watch just a little bit of it, and then we'll introduce our guest speaker who's going to talk to us about it and who was the producer of this fantastic documentary, okay? All right. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Anthony is going to say our prayer. Okay, kind of hold it there.
I thank thee, Lord, as a volunteer for the chance to serve another year and to give of myself in some small way to those not blessed as I each day. My thanks for health in mind and soul to aid me ever toward my goal, for eyes to see the good in all, a hand to extend before a fall, for legs to go where the need is great, learning to love, forgetting to hate, for ears to hear and heart to care when someone's cross is hard to bear, a smile to show my affection true, with energy aplenty, the task to do. And all I ask, dear Lord, if I may, is to serve you better day by day. We pray for peace throughout the world. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. So hopefully your lunch will come out shortly, and I'm going to go ahead and play part of the film, and then we'll have our discussion. Which one?
This one. This is
How about thank you?
perfect.
Is that better?
Now we can see the screen and I can see.
Okay. Okay. And now,
Hit the space bar.
it's not coming in.
It's called the Ancestral Spirit-Based Series. It was began in 1973, where I've taken African patterns and combined them with urban abstract expressionism.
That man is an artist through to his marrow and his bones. His work kind of just speaks to you. It's magnificent.
I begin by setting out rhythms and melodies. And those melodies and patterns give me the structure for the composition.
He is creating images that have an impact to draw us in.
At some point, I go for the fun part, which is the improvisation. It's like a musician in a combo where you step out and you have a solo.
Bing Davis has been one of the leaders across the United States, African-American artist, visual artist. He's been doing this for 60 years.
And I'm tying those two in all the time, trying to make it relate as a whole, and actually using the negative space as part of the composition.
In many ways, Baba Bing has embodied the Western African tradition of the griot, where he's able to transmit a wealth of knowledge to several generations.
So there's always pure surface coming through, which is as important as the part that taps.
He's a creative human being. He's one of the most creative men in the world. Whether it's clay or paint, whatever medium he's working in, he's excellent at it.
It's a pretty powerful experience. to meet Bing Davis. Very good.
Written down, how you know, and written down, how you know your name, and written down, how you know your name, and written down.
I was named for Willis Hope. That's my uncle, the bus minister in South Carolina. I was named for him to follow him, and I thought I was going in that direction, and I used to think that I let a lot of people down following art, but I found out that art became my ministry.
His family is part of this larger mosaic of black families who left the Jim Crow South and came north to the Midwest, seeking opportunity, seeking a chance to have a fair shot at this American democratic exercise.
Most families who came to Dayton, Ohio through the Great Migration settled on the city's west side. But the Davis family made their home in a small African-American enclave on Dayton's east side, a working-class, Appalachian-rooted neighborhood adjacent to factories and plentiful opportunities for work.
I had this nurturing kind of environment there in East Dayton, just a little small neighborhood of African Americans that had musicians, artists, dancers, poets, some of the best gangsters in town.
His mother was a Chapman singer and quilter, and his father was a gospel singer. His entire family were gifted naturally.
Bing's household was a busy one, with 5 brothers and sisters, all talented, energetic, and creative. When Bing was in grade school, their family home was shattered when Bing's father moved out. Close friends encouraged Bing's mother to put the children in an orphanage. She refused. Instead, she dug deep, working 2 jobs to keep her young children all together under one roof. Only Bing and his younger sister Diane are left to share what it was like at home in those lean years on Diamond Avenue.
We stayed in a small 2-bedroom house. We were so close and very poor. Mom was the mom and the daddy and the sister and the brother and the minister. She was everything at home. And she didn't play. She was only about 5'3", little bitty mean lady. She didn't play. Oh, Lord.
Bing's mother was the glue that held her family together. She ensured her children were nourished physically, spiritually, and mentally, regularly imparting life lessons through sayings that Bing still references to this day. She also went out of her way to make sure young Bing had art supplies.
One of the 2 jobs my mother had the longest was she was the maid at the Biltmore Hotel. And she would go around to the room she was cleaning, and she would get the little pieces of cardboard they put in the back of shirts that come from the cleaners, and she'd cut them up. And sometimes she'd bring me a stack. The hardest thing to draw on was they had a coat on it, but I used them for paper. And if she couldn't find something for her baby to draw on, she would get some old paper bag. And she'd come home and iron the wrinkles out of paper bags with the iron so I'd have some paper to draw on. And say little yellow pencils that they fill out the menus on, she'd cut them up before they get thrown away, and I had these little stubs to draw on. So there's no way I could not be successful with that kind of nurturing support. I've been made to reflect about where is all this coming from and how to get to where it's at. I just had been nurtured. I'd just been nurtured and wasn't even aware of the nurturing. Because it came in the form of love. we happen to be sitting in the holy spot in Dayton, and that's the YMCA gymnasium. I played many games here. It's so different than where I learned to play basketball, and that was in Urban Community Center. Jack Reynolds was our community center director, and he worked with all of us on giving our best, doing your best. Don't do something if you're not going to work hard at it. And he was that male figure, not having a father in the house, that was one of the early males that made input into me through that community center.
At that era, you could become important by displaying the sort of talents and skills that everyone in your community really admired. Everybody liked and respected you because of what you could do when you went out on the playground. So I think that's an important element of sports and athletics in the African American community, is that you don't necessarily have to go on to the big time.
Participating in school and community athletics gave Bing's life structure and focus, as well as access to strong male role models and coaches who offered him advice and guidance. But his interest in art never stopped.
I knew early on that art was very important to me, very satisfying, very enjoyable. As much fun as sports was, art was even more fun. Art gave me an inner feeling that I didn't feel anywhere else. Matter of fact, in the 5th grade, okay, today we're going to stand up and we want everybody to say what you want to be when you grow up. And I stood up by my desk and clicked myself and cleared my throat. I want to be an artist when I grow up. Just stone silence. And then I finished, some of them started to giggle and laugh. At recess, I went around to everybody who laughed at me and says, I like you, you're my friend, but I can't play with you no more. I'm going to start playing with people, believe I can be something. I started off like most artists, drawing cartoons and illustrating things I saw in comic books and magazines and newspapers. And realism was always how you sort of measure your development, too. In high school, I would spend those study halls in the library looking at the great master books and look at Da Vinci and Picasso and Cézanne and Renoir and Delacroix and all the other artists. I wanted to know.
But the community knew Bing best as a gifted athlete. In high school, Bing won the city high jump championship in track and field and was voted to the all-city basketball team. An athletic scholarship seemed to be right around the corner. Although he was invited to attend as a walk-on, no colleges offered him a scholarship.
For many families, even if you wanted your child to go to school, you may not have the financial wherewithal to get that done. And so you're going to rely on scholarship money. In the 1950s, for a black man's pursuing higher education, that's a very tall task.
Bing was disappointed, but he knew that college was always going to be a long shot.
Many of us in the African community was just waiting to get 16 to get our work permit to quit and go into the factory. When they voted me all city on the basketball team, or me winning the city high jump championship on the track team, they didn't know we were on welfare. It was embarrassing that I couldn't help at home. And so I was waiting to get to be 16 so I could get my work permit, drop out of school, and go ahead and get me a job. That was my goal.
One of Bing's mentors, Coach Dean Dooley, made sure Bing didn't drop out, then stepped up to see if more could be done.
Coach Dean Dooley, my homeroom teacher, basketball coach and track coach, put 4 or 5 of us in his car and drove us to DePaul University in Greencastle, Indiana, to talk with his friend who is now the admissions director, and said, I have 5 young men from East Dayton. I'd like for them to see DePaul, and what you can see about finding scholarship to see if they could do college work. And one had not taken any college prep classes. So that was how I got to DePaul University. They needed a small forward, and I needed an education. So we traded.
Bing brought his A game to campus, leading the DePaul Tigers in scoring and rebounds. He decided to major in art education and broaden his art-making skills, finding an artistic mentor in his ceramics professor, Richard Peeler.
I enjoyed the painting, enjoyed the printmaking, but I loved the ceramics. Richard Peter encouraged us to find our own voice. He didn't force us to become a production potter where we would make 50 cups a day or 100 bowls a day. He encouraged those of us who wanted to make one of a kind, who wanted to do sculptural kinds of work, who wanted to also reflect our cultural history.
Through making art, Bing was finding his voice at the same time that Black Americans were collectively finding theirs. Starting in the 1950s, the civil rights movement began to gain momentum when long-standing segregation laws and policies were struck down by the Supreme Court. America was changing. And as he got ready to graduate from DePaul, Bing's future looked bright.
Space bar. It's the space bar.
I know, it's tantalizing. Yeah.
Very good.
Oh, I have no doubt that you're going to watch the rest of the documentary.
That's awesome.
It is really, really a labor of love. And it's really, not to toot our own horn, but I think we mission accomplished, that we did something really special.
So,
It's on.
it's on. Can you hear me? Okay. So everyone has one of these and an agenda. And I need to run through two important issues. I wanted to let everybody know that we're donating a monetary gift to the Gospel Mission in downtown Dayton in honor of our Citizen Legion of Honor recipient Jerry Howard, who passed away. And everybody knows Howard music. And so we're going to give a monetary donation in his honor to the mission. That's what his family would prefer. They gave everyone about 3 choices, and so our board voted on the mission downtown. And then the President's Club of Dayton is proud to partner with Twin Tig, Inc. to bring Christmas joy to the recipients of the YWCA, just like we did last year. Together, we're donating toys for children and gifts for parents to make the season brighter for those in need. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to Khadijah Ali, our past president of the President's Club of Dayton and program director and founder of the Circle of Vision Keepers, for her generosity. Khadijah has shared 3 bags of toys already that were donated to her organization. And well, she was given a lot more than 3 bags, but she gave us 3 bags of toys. And so she's passing those on to us. But we still would like for you to donate a toy or a parent gift next on December 18th at our next meeting. And we will give that to the YWCA for their Christmas programming and whatever else they need it for. Okay, now, so Rodney Veal, and a lot of you know who he is, but I do want to read this. I might have you get on stage because Rodney Veal is an accomplished independent choreographer and multidisciplinary artist, bringing a wealth of experience and creativity to the arts community. A graduate of Eastern Michigan University, Rodney earned a BS in political science and visual arts, and later obtained an MFA in choreography from The Ohio State University, my alma mater. Okay. Rodney's dedication to arts education is evident through his service as adjunct faculty of dance at Stivers School for the Performing Arts in Sinclair Community College, where he shared his expertise and passion with aspiring artists. He also contributed as a career community coordinator under the guidance of the Associate Provost's Office, showcasing his commitment to student success. Currently, Rodney serves as president of the Board of Trustees for Ohio Dance, while actively participating on the boards of notable organizations such as Levitt Pavilion Dayton, Dayton Performing Arts Alliance, Westcott House, Homeful, Dayton Live, and the Community Advisory Board of WYSO. His community leadership reflects his dedication to fostering growth and accessibility in the arts. Rodney's artistic achievements include choreography and performance installations throughout the Miami Valley, such as the acclaimed Project Reveal, 5 Zones of Beauty at the Springfield Museum of Art in 2011, a solo exhibition at the Harmon Museum in Lebanon, Ohio in 2023, and a site-specific installation at the University of Dayton's Art Street in 2015. Recognized for his creative impact, he is a recipient of multiple Montgomery County Arts and Cultural District grants and fellowships, including the prestigious 2010 to 2011 MCACD Fellowship. Beyond his contributions as an artist and educator, Rodney is a dynamic media professional serving as producer and community arts liaison for Public Media Connect. He is also the charismatic host of the Emmy award-winning series, The Art Show, which is now in production for its 14th season. You need a hand for that. Where he continues to spotlight the rich tapestry of artistic talent in the region. Today, we are going to focus on the latest documentary of our Citizen Legion of Honor recipient, Willis Bing Davis, Reach High and Reach Back. Rodney's work bridges education, performance, and community engagement, making him a vital force in the arts and culture landscape. May I present to you Rodney Bill.
Whoa, that's very surreal. I'm not gonna lie, it's very well, good afternoon, everyone. Hi. It's very surreal to have your life story told back to you and you realize, okay, now I understand why my mom is saying you need to slow down. Like, I really understand what she's saying to me every day. Thank you all for taking time out of your afternoon to be here. It's my honor. Thank you, Veronica, for inviting me in the President's Club of Dayton. The background kind of tells you, if it doesn't tell you that I love art and culture, I don't know if that background, I don't know what else I could add to my resume to tell that story. I am a native Daytonian, and I didn't do the traditional thing of saying, oh, I could be an artist, let's go elsewhere to pursue my passion and also my talents and what I believe in. I chose to stay in Dayton, Ohio. I had the great fortune of being surrounded by some amazing people in the arts here. The Schwartz sisters, Josephine Schwartz was still alive at the time when I was dancing at Dayton Ballet in the second company. Geraldine Blunden was a very vocal mentor to me, whether I liked it or not. She told me where I needed to be and what path I needed to go on, and I listened because, you know, I was hopefully raised correctly by my parents. And also surrounded by artists like Willis Bing Davis, who's here in the room. And I was like, it's such a pleasant surprise to see Bing today. And I was like, I gotta get back over to Bing. We've been working on a documentary for so long. And so it's great to see you. It just always lightens my day, and it brings a smile, and then my heart just gets a little bigger because I just like, in the presence of somebody pretty cool. I call him the OG. He knows that. So I call him the OG. And so my journey to hosting the art show was based on the fact that I loved art and culture, and I was just a television host. And my job was, it seemed like just a television host, but it was my job to just read the script, to also kind of give a little bit of guidance and input on the kind of stories we tell for the art show. Think TV, Public Media Connects is Think TV. which is our PBS affiliate. I call it the land of Big Bird. But we are also encompass Cincinnati with CET. So we're one large media conglomerate that pretty much covers the entire Southwest Ohio. That is not lost on me when I go to arts events and activities, and I go to a lot of things. Again, my mom is like, please slow down. And and once this opportunity and how this documentary came about was a conversation with our new chief content officer at Think TV, Colin Scanambolo. And he invited me into a boardroom meeting, and I thought I was getting canceled. So I said, well, I had a good run with the art show. Here we go. He said, no, we're not canceling you. We want to find out what would be a really great story to tell about art and culture as a documentary. And I pitched the idea of telling the story of Willis Bing Davis. And so once it went back to the powers that be, they came back within a day, said, yes, we're going down this pathway. And this was in the spring of 2023. So we've been on this journey of telling Bing's story since 2023. So I stepped into the role. They hired me as a independent producer for the documentary. I have never done this in my life. I have produced art, I have produced concerts, but I've never produced film, I've never produced media. I had a really excellent, extremely great, who I consider to be a dear friend, Ann Rodolanti, who is an experienced producer of television at Think TV, and she's the producer of the art show. So I had a wonderful co-pilot. I had a wonderful person to guide me, and a wonderful person to calm my nerves when I'm like, am I taking on a lot? And I was still teaching at the time and still working as a career community coordinator for Sinclair. So this journey was, I really did not do anything except eat, sleep, drink, Bing Davis, art making, teaching for 18 months. And once we started that journey, and I can tell you from the beginning, and Colin, who was our new chief content officer, had never met Bing. He had heard of Bing, and he's based in Cincinnati. And he loves to tell the story of he went to Bing's studio, and he came in, and Bing, you met with Colin, and he came back and he said, he is exactly how you described him. And he just said, oh, we have got to tell this story. He got even more excited because he met you. And so it's one of the situations, I think anyone in this room, how many people know Bing and have met him? You recognize the energy and the spirit that he embodies. You feel it, and it inspires you to be a better human being, and just being in his presence just kind of makes the day that much better. I'm making it like this, that much better. And so that was Colin came in like almost like he had been converted to the cult. We call it the Bing effect. And so once we were off to the races, and one of the things that's we had a lot of things that were in our favor. At the same time, we made this sort of plan to produce the documentary. The University of Dayton had decided, had reached an agreement with Bing and Audrey and his family to host his archives. So his archives of all of his papers and all of the materials that are related to his life and his career were just being delivered to University of Dayton. Wow. So it's almost like serendipity. It was like, okay, we call it the Bing effect. That is honestly our story inside. We call it, whenever Bing appears, like, it's the Bing effect. It's all going to be good. And it just kept snowballing from there. We ended up with a beautiful relationship with UD, and they were like super excited. And they jumped on board as one of our first sponsors. Tess Little, who's here today, searching for the words, was on our advisory committee for the documentary. Dr. Judith Wakua from University of Dayton, Karen Brame from Dayton Metro Libraries. So we had this team of these phenomenally gifted women who I just adore. I respect and value and treasure their talents and their energies. They came. They were like, we're there. They didn't even hesitate. We will clear our schedules. We will advise you. And so, you have this basically I call it Bing's Angels. And you have the blessing of the station that Colin is a convert, Ann and I are already super fans. So we're off to the races kind of digging into the archives. And the very first day, and I tell this story, that we went into the archives and we realized that the boxes had not been sorted. So there were 140, I think it's 143 or 148 boxes are at University of Dayton that are not sorted. And so it's also told us something about Bing as well. So the first box we opened, there was a file folder, Bing, that had a letter, a note from the President of the United States at the time. It was, I believe it was Bush Sr. Then there was a catalog from Miami University for students. There were letters connected to things, events and activities all over the country, but they were from different time periods, all in the folder. And it made us realize Bing is not a person to look back. It's like it happens in the moment, and then he moves on. And it's like, and that's just he has more energy than any human being that I have ever encountered, and he has a lot of energy. And so we recognized that it wasn't. So we had to do the deep digging, and so I spent. Ann and I decided to split up the duties. She would kind of handle the technical side, and I would work in kind of deep diving into the archives. As a political scientist, I told Colin, I said, I love research. This is really cool. And he goes, really? He looked at me like, you're into research? I said, yeah, absolutely. This is where you can kind of discover a story. And so over the period of time, it started developing. You started to realize there's so much to Bing's life that has happened over 87 years. 86 years at the time. And so it was a lot. He has, we determined that he has artwork in a collection, a museum collection, or a personal collection on every continent on the planet. The only place is Antarctica. He doesn't have it, and someone did offer to take a piece of his artwork up there. So we tried to work that out. We also determined that he has served on many organizations nationally that have impacted not just this region, but he has an influence beyond Dayton, Ohio. His influence was with the National Conference of Artists. I'm hoping I'm getting NCA, I'm getting it right. He joined as a member, and then he became vice president, became president, and so there's this guiding force to these kind of being influential to artists and arts education across the country. There were letters and there's stories and documents that Bing has written. He's a wonderful writer. I think you're one of the most gifted writers explaining the artistic process and putting it in a historical context. So we had this rich treasure trove of information to work with. And so I'm feeding this information to Ann. Ann is plotting who we need to interview. And then we started, and basically, even when we went to go to apply for funding for the documentary, well, I don't know if Big knows this, that we met with the Ohio Arts Council. They didn't even give us a process. They just wrote us a check for $8,000. They said, you need to tell this story. Here's $8,000. I said, isn't there a process? Discretionary funds. We love Bing. So it was off to the races. The Bing effect just kept rolling through. Even when we went to print the one-sheet flyer that we were using to promote fundraising, the printer covered the cost for it. He said, this is on us. We love Bing. The printer loved you. So yet again, the Bing effect. Every turn, there was somebody saying, what do you need? What do you need? What do you need? And so when we announced it, we also recognized that once we announced that we were doing the documentary, everybody stopped me in the grocery store, at an event. It's like, how's the Bing doc going? There is so much love for this man and his work. And his impact is rooted in having taught folks who may not go off to be artists, but have gone off to be better human beings. And that's one of the things inside of the documentary, where that lesson of he learned to not teach art, but to teach people. And so and that has been his guiding philosophy. And I can honestly say, Bing, that's been his guiding philosophy since the day he was born. And it's really a testimony to how he was raised, but also more important to the character of who he is as a man, that he has maintained that level of excellence and that concern and that compassion for other human beings. So how could we not fall in love with Bing? We started off, it was only supposed to be, we were supposed to only interview 9 people. We ended up interviewing 38. We have drove to Columbus to interview 1 individual at an airport hotel because he flew in. He was the expert Rick Sheffield, which you saw a little bit of. We were pulling images from every place that he's shown artwork from to make sure that we could get really beautiful imagery. We were in Bing and Audrey's space at the Ebonea Gallery on West 3rd Street. So much so that he trusted me to just lock up and close the doors when I was doing research at his studio. He's like, well, we're gone. Just turn out the lights when you're done. I'm like, okay. That level of trust that he entrusted our station and us as a team to kind of tell his life story, that it's not a burden. I wouldn't say it was a burden. It's just that it's a responsibility, and it was one that we took very, very seriously. I mean, we fought. I mean, there were moments where the station would want to come at us with, this is how we do things. Like, no, it is Bing. We will do it this way. And I was very adamant on making sure that this story was protected and this story was treated with the respect it deserved. So in the course of that 18 months, they also Colin came back to me and he said, we would love to offer you a job based upon the work of working on this story. I said, are you sure about it? I said, we should have done this a long time ago, but now this is just proof positive that you embody the mission of Think TV. And our mission is to serve the community. Our mission is to provide joy, provide access to information that is not tainted by partisanship. It is about the fact that it's about the human experience at every level, from toddler to our elders. It is every experience in between and it's that richness of life. And I believe that is in my core being. And so this opportunity was also about community arts liaison as well. So the community arts liaison component is that my responsibility now is to find the stories, is to make the connections with artists and arts organizations in Southwest Ohio. I really do believe that this is a fertile, rich ground for art and creativity. I think as the 7th largest state in the country, we have a lot to offer. I'm a proud Daytonian and I'm a proud Ohioan. And so I am all in. And so I reluctantly resigned from my position at Sinclair. I mean, after almost 20 years of teaching and also at Stiver School for the Arts, I was 19 years as well. I'm dedicated to this proposition, to this mission because of this Bing Davis documentary and this journey. I'm hoping that you get an opportunity to kind of see the documentary in its totality. We would love to hear back from you. This is coming from Ann, because Ann has been assigned another role at the station, and she is our impact data analyst. And so, Veronica, I will send you a link for anyone who watches the documentary as a member of a club to give us feedback. Because we want the station to know that these are the kind of stories that we want to tell, and these are the kind of stories that you want to see. And if the people speak, and if the viewers like you tell them that this is what we do, we're off to the races, because I am already plotting and planning for the next documentary. I'm plotting and planning to expand what we can offer with the art show. We are moving into digital content on social media. We are going to we have a dedicated YouTube channel, but we're going to expand the offerings. I'm full steam ahead. And I'm still an art maker too, so I'm still making art, and so there's a component of that as well. But I think what you need to understand and know about Bing and this journey of us telling the story is that it has changed. Bing, you have changed the internal culture of the station. By us telling your story, you've planted a seed. Just like you have in your life. In his life, he has planted seeds with so many individuals, not just in Ohio, all over the country, that have borne fruit of the power of positivity, of talent, creativity, and humanity. And That is a pretty. I was going to use a foul language, but I won't. My mom will be up here and tell me, "Don't do that." Amazing. It's absolutely just a word that I would say is phenomenal and amazing. So, I also want to open it up to an opportunity because you do have Bing here and Tess, who are part of. You saw them on the screen. You heard their voices, and myself. Ask questions and ask us about the documentary because, and we're here. So, ask away. You have a chance and opportunity.
I want to say something. And so, Bing, I do want you to come up, and if somebody has a question or something that you can answer. But you all must watch the rest of this because we didn't get to see the people who he's influenced, who he taught. And like you were saying, he was a teacher, but he was a humanitarian, or he taught morality. A person didn't have to be a great artist, but they learned a lot from him. And that's why I wanted everybody to experience this, because we all think we know Bing, but you really don't know Bing until you see this story and you see his influence and you see even the love that his mother had for him, and raising 5 kids and taking time to iron a bag so this kid can do what he had a passion for. That's what mothers do. And sometimes we have to be reminded of what our mothers sacrificed for us. And as we sacrifice for our children, our nieces, our nephews, ourselves. And but there's so much more to this. That was just the beginning. The rest of it is going to really warm your heart to see a person be so compassionate all the time. I mean, he's the same throughout his life. And you don't meet people like that. We meet people who are moody one day and nice the next day. And,
I have a niece like that.
Yeah, you don't know. You have to be afraid of what you're going to say. But you'll see with Bing and teaching people, he's always been the same. And it's just, it's a breath of fresh air to watch this. So I hope you all go home and just go to YouTube and pull it up and watch it with your family. It is really, really inspiring and motivating is how I feel. So that's what I wanted to say.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that is absolutely true. So,
and I'm so happy we could share it. I'm just so happy.
I felt bad that we could only show a snippet of it just in this conversation, but
I gave
I
them
hope we gave you a
homework
good taste.
assignments, and they didn't all do it. The art show.
Where do you see that?
That is also on. Actually, believe it or not, you can actually see episodes of the art show on YouTube. You can catch it on our website, thinktv.org. It's, like I said, we are your PBS affiliate, so you can catch it there. It does air on Sundays at 5:30 in Dayton and 6:30 in Cincinnati on Saturday.
And it's really good. He goes everywhere.
We cover it all.
All kinds of artists.
All of it.
Everywhere.
I think it's the best job ever.
Really he does a great job.
That's kind of you. Those are kind. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the art show. It's really good.
Thank you.
Who said? There we go.
Oh God, I got fans. Okay,
Yeah.
we appreciate it. I mean, we love doing it. You can tell that we love making the show. It is a labor of love.
Yeah.
It is such a labor of love. Yeah.
Mr. Davis.
Come, there was a cable right there. You want to come around this way?
Yeah. I just want to thank you for the great job you've done. But Biv, I came down just to support you.
Oh!
I wanted to let you know again that how much I appreciate all the work you've done on this. But I would try to address any question you might have, but This is your time of your day.
Oh no, it's our day. Are you talking? It's amazing. Any questions?
So I have.
Gotcha.
Is there a way that we can keep expanding out on the west side of the art and culture there? Is there other plans that people might join you?
I'm not sure on the question. The first part about
Well, you have really established, I think an art corridor heading on the west side. Is there other people like from Stivers or other people interested in keeping expanding? on the
yes,
west side?
indeed. As a matter of fact, there's a young man, former student of ours from Central State University, by way of Cincinnati, who opened up a gallery last April called the Black Palette, 37 feet from where I'm at. And not only that, we yesterday opened up a joint exhibit together for the first time. So his gallery called Black Palette and our gallery called Ebonea Gallery has partnered with the Dayton Foundation, who has sponsored an exhibit around a 1964 lecture by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. at the UD Fieldhouse, the only lecture that Dr. King gave in Dayton, 1964. And last August, the Dayton Foundation has sponsored us to pull together 21 black artists from Dayton and Cincinnati and Georgia to respond to that. We call it Visual Voices, an African art exhibit in response to the 1964 speech by Dr. King. And that opened up yesterday and is available in both of our galleries from 11 to 5, Tuesday through Saturday. And they even hired sitters for us to be able to keep it open for the public, and we can encourage the organization and youth groups to come. But that exhibit is phenomenal. We have 13 of those 21 artists we invited came through. And one of the artists is on the cover, you'll see it. They're doing the story on it now. It should be out in a few days, by Russell Florence and Meredith Small. But the exhibit is one of the best exhibits we've been a part of. Half of the exhibit is in the Black Palette, and half of the exhibit is in Ebonea. And to see, as a result of the show and the quality, the foundation let us expand it. So it's twice the size it would be if it was in either one of us. And the same show is just divided up equally. So you can come over now and see, and that is a direct growth of what is happening in terms of the arts along the area.
Now, how long is the exhibit?
It's going to be from November the 15th. It opened up last Friday, and we'll be there until February the 2nd. February, and there'll be a special reception on December the 13th from 5 to 7 o'clock.
December 13th.
Okay.
December the. So yeah, there's a lot going on, and there are two buildings going up that will house, one will house 120 townhouses, and another will house over 140 living, and that's in the process of being built now.
In Wright Dunbar.
In Wright Dunbar.
I live there, so.
Yeah,
I live in Wright Dunbar.
yeah. We happen to have the most integrated neighborhood in this area, and that's Wright Dunbar.
Absolutely.
It's just an amazing community with individuals like Rodney and others who are right there in the area. But Wright Dunbar is just really growing. I'm just so encouraged by what I see happening. We had an experiment with the Twente in housing and hosting our gallery, and this is a direct result of it, of the Dayton Foundation hiring two young ladies to help us keep this exhibit open for the public from 11 to 5, Tuesday through Saturday. And we're looking forward to you coming down and seeing what I think is one of the best exhibits of the last 10 years in Dayton, all inspired by Dr. King's speech.
Love it.
Wonderful.
super cool stuff. I tell you, I'm excited. Which may be an art show segment. Absolutely. I mean, because it's like, oh, I'll just kind of pop in. I'm like, as a producer, I can do things.
And I'm glad you mentioned that because I had a gentleman walked in the other day, and you've got to meet him. If you've ever been to Los Angeles and seen the Watchtowers and that folk artist, there's a folk artist of that quality in Dayton that blew me away, that has built a shrine around his house using over 4,000 pebbles and stones.
Where is his house? Will he let people come by his house?
We'll see, but we're taking.
I'll get the information.
I'm
on a journey. I'm like, love it. That's the best part.
Amazing.
I think there's something in Springfield, Ohio, where somebody did that with pebbles.
Yeah, there is. But a lot of folk artists use ordinary natural things.
Yeah.
And this gentleman, self-taught, has just created something that needs to be seen and shared.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love my job. I love my life. It's great. I get to, and that's the other thing about it is, so I was thinking about that. Yes, I will be. I'll be at the show. I'm gonna push that to the team today. As a matter of fact, 3-3. There's a person, I don't know, Bing. We're doing a story on Amina Robinson, who is. There's an exhibition of her work coming to Springfield in February 1st, and so. Springfield Museum of Art is Amina Robinson's collection of art. If you have not been to the Springfield Museum of Art, it is a stunning space. It is a phenomenal museum space.
Amina is a Poindexter Village resident in Columbus, West Dayton, and she had, before she passed, been documenting her community for years.
Decades.
I remember when the city of Columbus sent her to Africa to study, but she also left her entire artwork. She was the last living of her family, and the Columbus Museum has taken her home that she donated to them and turned it into a facility that we now have. The 4th artist can go in every 6 months and live there with a stipend. In her name.
Yes.
Amina Brenda Lynn Robinson, one of the most gifted folk artists in America, who passed a few years ago, and Columbus. And Springfield will be housing the first stop of her show that will travel the country. Wonderful. Arts and community. Yeah.
And one of the things with what she did was that she gifted not only her artwork in her house, but I found out she also gifted the museum her pet chihuahua. So I thought, okay, I've got to tell this phenomenal woman's story. And so this is Southwest Ohio. You don't have to go to DC. You don't have to go to New York to see artists that can compel you, that can show you their humanity, but get inspired by it. They're here. They are here. We will never run out of content for the art show. Yeah, we will unless I would literally have to stop breathing and being able to speak in order for the show not to exist. So I'm in it until they push me out the door. But I want to tell you, like, we're doing that story, and I met with. I just can't wait. I can't wait to go see the work. I can't wait to see them install it. It's going to be a really neat experience for us.
Amina is one of my favorite people, but also I've been so moved by this exhibit. It's called Visual Voices, African American Artists Exhibit, in response to the 1964 speech of Dr. King. When you come, you're going to see work that not only reflects the vision of Dr. King, but gives us vision as to what we still need to do to actualize his dream. But do come. And thank you for that question, because this is an experiment. One exhibit in 2 sites on the same street, 37 steps apart, in the Black Palace and in Ebonea, that we think is going to rekindle good discussion around the efforts of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Well, that was great.
Thank you for having us. This is awesome.
Thank you so much. I want to thank everyone. Normally we introduce ourselves, but we're out of time now. So I hope that we see each other again in December, the third Wednesday of the month. What date is that? It's on there. December what? 18th. Okay. So we'll be here December 18th. Yes. Yes, sir, Billy.
On the guilt, there's a little rain. You want them out or doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And then Tony wants to tell you all and remind you about the wreaths.
Can I have everybody's attention? Thank you. Look on your table. You'll have one of these flyers. Can I have your attention, please? This is real important. We have over 60,000 heroes buried at the National Veterans Cemetery at the hospital here. Since Civil War days. Take this flyer, take out your cameras, please, and scan the barcode and order your wreath today. You can order more than one wreath. But this money that the Civitan Club will raise will go back into the community to help building bridges, the University of Pittsburgh, the United Rehabilitation Services, Choices in Community Living, the Victory Project, and Montgomery County Pell, and building bridges. Did I say that?
Yes.
So order your wreaths. Many of you have done so, but do it again. Thank you.
Okay. And Margaret, do you have anything to say about the Women's Club?
Well, I just wanted to say that, on the 29th downtown, we're having the parade and the lighting, and so we're going to be serving as a warming station, starting from 3 o'clock till 8 o'clock. So if anybody is parking on this side of the thing and going to the event, which is just a block and a half away, we'll be serving hot chocolate, homemade baked goods, and coffee, of course. So in case anybody would like to utilize our warming station, and we do have an event coming up next week. No, it's this week. The 21st, we're actually having Jan Austin do an early evening event from 5 to 7 on the 21st, talking about travel tips, good places to go see, and watch out for those loopholes. So I sort of call that my sip and learn type of a time frame. So if anybody would like to have that, you're certainly welcome to come.
When is that again?
It's the 21st. It's from 5 to tomorrow. And if you have things for ALF for Friday night, we were asked by DPAA to see if we could do a pre-dinner show for some of their patrons. So we're going to launch a pre-dinner show before each new event that goes down at the Schuster. So tomorrow on the 22nd, we'll be doing a pre-dinner show. So it's still not too late to RSVP to have that. And Tony came to the first one that was truly the pilot, so he can comment. How was it, Tony?
It was awesome. I put it on Facebook, all the photos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
On Facebook, yeah.
Any other organization that has anything to announce?
I just want to mention, our newsletter will be out, and if your organization and you're a member of of the President's Club, get your flyers into me so I can put it in the newsletter. Any fundraising or any projects you want to, one page, and we'll make sure over 100 people get it in their service clubs. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. This